That is the Coramal waters of Lagos. I love it. My name is Folorunso Alakija. This is my Lagos. As a young girl, to the best of my knowledge, when I was about 5, 6, I lived with my parents in the heart of Lagos. We lived in a big 4-story family house in Idoluwo Street. And my father traded between Dosomo Street and ORIYOMI Street. And that whole area was residential leading into the commercial heart of central Lagos. And we used to walk to school. And there were plants left and right of the roads. There wasn't too much hustle and bustle. I remember also that whilst living in the heart of Lagos, that people used to refer to each other by the registration number of their cars. I remember particularly the Ajala family was facing the Ogbara family house in Lagos, and there was a gentleman there whose registration number was LO4. Up till today, I don't remember his first name. I just know him as LO4. Just as himself and his brothers and sisters would have remembered my dad's registration number as well. And I also remember that my dad had just bought a Mercedes at that time. It was very new, and we used to go to school in it. I also remember days when the car couldn't take us to school and we would have to enter public transport. There was the LMTS and there was the Alakija. The Alakija vehicles were made of wood, and people would be seated left, right and center, and to be able to get in more passengers into the vehicle would start, they would start it on purpose and then apply the brakes suddenly to be able to allow other passengers to come in. I actually did get transported in that as well. I remember also that in Lagos of those days, you could sleep outside your house. There were no fences, nobody cared about fences. There was little or no security whatsoever. I've lived 59 years of my life in Lagos, so I'm a Lagos lizard. The social life was such that there were always street parties. And I remember that it was in one of those street parties that my husband and I actually met. When we were courting, we used to go to many mama put areas where it was fun to just buy rice in leaves and eat it inside your car. Ikorodu people are very, very sociable. We love parties. I remember that many were always looking for one excuse or the other to have, to celebrate something. It would either be, one tefada, okay, one yokupada. But a lot of parties were celebrated in the evenings because people didn't have to be security conscious. Parties were usually all night. It took years after that before people would say, no night parties, please. So Lagos was very secure. I also remember that part of traveling in those days was about going by sea if you were going abroad. Very few people traveled by air, and I remember that even traveling by air in those days was through the airline called BOAC. There was UTC and Kingsway stores. They were the 2 biggest department stores in Lagos then, in the heart of town. Part of social life, of course, were some of the nightclubs. I hardly went to nightclubs. There was the Mainland Hotel in Ebute Metta. There was Kakadu. Social life in Lagos was fun, extreme fun. And as a young girl growing up, as a teenager, I remember with the nostalgia how I used to go and help my mom in her store. That was where I learned a lot. That has helped me to grow in my business, the various businesses that I ended up going into later on in life. Making it, as Nigerians would say, has been in Lagos. Lagos has evolved and it is still evolving. Lagos is my best city ever. I will not live anywhere else.
Eko akete idu ogbon aromode ko mama ja o eko aromisa legbelegbe o ma sijuta o pe kowe apiro kò má sí lùtà ó bèkòwé bèkòwé o kò má sí lùtà ó bèbè kò sí tó.
This is my Lagos story.